Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. Today we're going to take a look at the Lake Country UDOS 51E polisher. 51E as in 5-in-1 electric polisher. Has a nice hefty price tag of around $700. However, it is a 5-in-1 tool. As I show you the dimensions, we can go through all the tools that this will replicate depending on the setting you put it in. A rotary, a sander with an 8mm throw, a polisher with 3 throws or offsets of 12mm, 15mm, and 21mm. We will go into that in great detail shortly. By the way, these features are no larger, well, actually smaller than some polishers out there. When it comes to the weight, though, that's a different story. Weighing in at a hefty 7.5 pounds. That's 2 pounds heavier than a lot of polishers. The speed dial is right there towards the back, right in front of the handle. No tactile feedback though whatsoever, which is a little disappointing. It has the variable speed trigger with a lock, and I love the overmolded rubber grips. Very nice, ergonomic, and comfortable to handle. In there goes the air, and it blows out through the front of the polisher. That will keep all the heat from running over your hand and wrist. There are 3 different types of handles or grips that you could bolt to the front of the unit depending on what is comfortable for you. The 2 ridges on the back will allow you to set it on its back without flipping to one side or another, exposing your pad to the ground. The 10-foot cord is a thermoset rubber. I love these. They're soft, they're easy to manage. You could throw them up on your shoulder and they will stick a lot better than a thermoplastic. It's a junior service cord with pigtail. The casing is a nice, sturdy PA6GF30, which is nylon and glass fibers that will give it its toughness and rigidity. And when it comes to the internals, well, we'll have to wait for that in a separate video, as we're going to concentrate in its functionality today. On the shroud itself, you're going to see some numbers and letters and some white lines, and that would be R, S, P1, P2, and P3. As we change the settings, I'll describe exactly what they are, but to change the settings, you need to line up all these white lines on the backing plate, on the shroud itself, and on the casement of the unit. Let's start with R. That's going to be the rotary setting. S is going to be the sanding setting. That's an 8mm throw. P1 is going to be a 12mm throw polisher. P2 is going to be equal to a 15mm throw polisher, and P3 will be equal to a 21 long throw polisher. The backing plate is well vented. It has these neat race car vents on the top, which filter down through the bottom of the backing plate through the pad. And a lot of the Velcro backing plate portions of the pads are breathable, so that helps with heat management. As we take a peek inside of the shroud, you're going to see the spindle, and I will go through all the settings. That'll show you the spindle sliding from side to side, from the rotary setting to the 21mm throw setting and back. That's what gives it its offset, and that's really what gives it that really unique shaped counterbalance you see on the outside right there at my fingers. Let's jump over to a test panel. I can show you exactly how each setting performs, and we'll start with the sand setting. And that will give it an 8mm throw that's perfect for wet sanding, and that's exactly what I have here, a wet sanding foam disc. This has a 1200 watt 10 amp motor, and the orbits per minute 1000 to 2400 at its highest speed setting. The unit comes with a 5-inch hook and loop backing plate. You can attach a 6-inch with not many problems. The incredible counterbalance will help cut down on the wobble when you're switching from one backing plate to another. When it comes to vibration, the heft and overall build of the unit pretty much absorbs much of the vibration. Very little to speak of. The sound of the tool itself is tolerable. The grips make it very comfortable to work, and yeah, I can see myself using this for a long period of time after I get used to the weight. Nice and smooth, does an effective job as a sander, what you could expect for an 8mm throw. Let's move along and head over and switch the setting to rotary. By the way, if that silver line there is exposed, do not run the unit. Make sure it clicks. You'll hear that satisfying click, the sound of cocking a .50 caliber. Effective and very smooth as rotary. All right, let's slide on over to the P1 setting. So that's a 12mm throw. That's like an entry-level polisher, and an example or two, which would be the MacShine M8 or the Griot's Garage G9. ShineMaster also has a version of this. Here's an excellent shot of that 12mm throw. Very effective, very smooth. Very good for finishing or some fine polishing. One notch over, we find the P2 setting that is equal to a 15mm throw, similar to the MacShine Pro 15 or the Griot's Garage Boss 15. By the way, if you ever wondered why a lot of the pads have holes in the middle, that's so the heat can escape down through the spindle. It's where a lot of heat is concentrated, and if you have a pad that overheats, these beveled pads will flatten like a pancake, and the straight edge pads will fold in. An excellent shot of the 15mm throw, excellent when stepping down on multi-step corrections, and maybe a step after the rotary. And finally, one more position over, and we find P3, which is equal to a polisher that has a 21mm throw. This is the true long throw polisher. Excellent for if you're working on boats or large trucks or panel vans, something with very large panels, and you can speed through them quickly. And there you have it, all of that work done with just one tool. If you're a mobile detailer, this is all you would need to pack up in your bag. The rest, correction fluids and towels. That will bring us to the final thoughts segment of the video. Guys, I had a blast using this polisher. The UDOS polisher it's a fun tool. What can I say? There may be a few things that you have to get used to. First of all, it's 2.5 pounds heavier than other polishers, but after some use, muscle memory will come into play, and you'll forget about that. The $700 price tag is something that could be a hard pill to swallow. So what I did here was I picked up 5 mid-grade tools that this here tools will mimic and replicate depending on what setting it's on. For instance, rotary polisher at $135, a polisher that has a 12mm throw, $106, 15mm throw, $199, 21mm throw, $205. I'll throw in my Dynabraid sander, that was $223. These are all mid-grade tools, by the way. Added together, $868. So something to think about, spending $868 for each individual tool that specializes in each job, or $700 for one. And that would be important, huge for the mobile detailer that can really cut down on his load as he heads out to a job. So something to think about. Another drawback, it's something I hit all polisher manufacturers with when they just have a 1-year warranty. Rubs me the wrong way. You purchase a tool like this and spend that type of money, and you're going to be using and holding on to that tool for years to come. It's something that doesn't leave your side if you do this for a living. And even if you're an enthusiast, it's something you're going to go grab year after year as you own your car and maybe trade that in for future cars. So that always rubs me the wrong way. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I know you're going to ask a rating for the polisher on the channel here. Without tearing it apart, it gets a very impressive so far. Does each job individually incredibly well. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.